Hello, good morning and welcome to Sigulda in Latvia on a grey November morning as we get ready for the start of race 2 of the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. Well, we're here in Sigulda for 2 race weekends in this strange 2020-2021 season before we take a week's travel break and head to Innsbruck in Austria for 2 race weekends pre-Christmas. So for the first time outside of the World Championships, our teams come back to the same track the following week. And you don't usually get that opportunity to do so much work on a sled in race conditions. The start here elevated in the start building. Sleds going up in the elevator is quite something when you see it for the first time. Start record from last weekend from Lara Nolter and Deborah Levy. Deborah Levy not on the back of the sled this week. Lara crashed in the first heat, didn't go in the second. Build up speed very quickly through this upper labyrinth, out of corner 6, and a little more gradual, 7, 8 and 9. We're down on ground level now, the road down beside us. Whipping through corner 10, 11, very quick transitions here. Breath to 12, and then 13 and 14 come at you in a real rush. Long straight down to corner 15, plenty of time to contemplate how many taps you've hit on the wall. And then over the outrun, back down into corner 16, and then climbing out of 16 all the way to the line. Track record set last week by Andreea Grecu of Romania with Iana Georgia. They were the European silver medalists here in February. And last weekend ended up finishing in 6th position. It all got a bit away from her in the second heat. However, Andrea having a good quick run. And she will be on our start list as well today. A few teams changing around their braking athletes. And we have also lost Margot Bock and Carla Seneschal of France. Margot with a knee injury. And there's also no entry this weekend for last week's World Cup debutant, Sylwia Smolarek of Poland. Well, Mariama Jumanka, the race winner last week. And for Jumanka, this is a bit of a happy hunting ground. This was the scene of her first ever World Cup win 2 seasons ago. She'd already been the Olympic champion. And she was very relieved to finally win a World Cup race. She said, maybe that'll stop people asking me, when am I ever going to win a World Cup race? And then, yeah, she didn't really stop for a while, did she? Last year, Jumanka, runner-up in the World Cup standings. But she ended up claiming the World Cup the year before. Stephanie Schneider, the reigning World Cup champion, not entirely healthy. As is that phone probably now. So Schneider not racing, well, certainly not racing here, and quite possibly not racing before Christmas. Well, there's the entrance to the elevator to take the sleds up to the top floor from this deck down at ground level. It's quite a strange thing. You're used to going up in trucks with up the mountain with sleds, but not so much in the elevator. So here is our entry list, and with although the Russians are here because of a positive COVID test within the camp, they are not competing, so they're isolating themselves. So there's no Russian team, no Americans, no Canadians. There are no Chinese and no Korean athletes on tour this side of Christmas, as we understand it. So it is a small field. We get race 2 of the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup underway here at Sigulda in Latvia with Romania's Andreea Grecu. And this weekend, Teodora Vlad rejoining her on the sled. Andrea in her 18th World Cup as a driver, her 38th in all. And it's a 5th World Cup start for Teodora, whose debut was in January 2018. And unusually for a female push athlete, that was in a 4-man sled. So our 2018 Junior World Champion Andreea Grecu gets us underway. And her start is a 5:41, 5:21 for Lara Nolter, the start record from last week through this quick-paced upper labyrinth, whipping out of turn 6. Doesn't take long to get through them here. It's a very busy track, short, sharp, and really difficult to get the best of. Nice exit there. This is the graveyard of time. And a good exit again into corner 15. Nice height, well controlled. Little tap going into 16, but nothing too much to worry her. And across the line, a 51.50. 50.96 is her track record, not from last week, from February 2020. So that was when she took silver medal in the European Championships with Yana Georgia, who was on the back of the sled yesterday. So Teodora Vlad, the 23-year-old alternate, joining her. Teodora is also doing a bit of driving. She's driven monobobs, she's driven two-man sleds. And as ever, Paul Niagu, really keen to continue finding drivers from the athletes that get into this Romanian team. That's exactly where Grecu started, driving for Maria Constantin. Maria Constantin now married and working with the German team. She's now officially a German bobsleigh coach. Next up, Austria's Katrin Beil. A career high here last week, silver medal, her best ever World Cup result. Jennifer Onisanya, as ever, with Kati. 29th World Cup start for Beil. European bronze medalist in 2019 and a 5:35 getaway. That's very good. Little tap, 3 to 4. Rocky into 6. 1900s up. Gap grows out to 2400s, quarter of a second ahead of Angela Greco, and very wild. Don't get two chances like that. Whoa! She's taken two. Sheer Cat, 111.4, best speed we've seen so far. Greco 121.1 at the bottom. 121.8 from Kati Beil. 51.12. Yeah, Wolfgang, I bet he wasn't looking, he wasn't looking quite as calm a couple of times there. I'm not sure Jennifer in the back seat was feeling quite so calm either. Kati, no, listen, it was quick. It was scary, but it was quick. How quick it was, we'll wait and see. That's late, isn't it? Look at this. Look how hung up she is there. Boy, oh boy. Now, quite possibly in a two-man sled with the extra weight of the athletes there going above the roll center, that would have been a crash. One of the things in recent years that's happened in women's bobsleigh is that the all-up weight of the sled and athletes has been reduced. Yeah. Saying what words can't. Next up is our race winner from last week. Mariama Yamanka has raced here 3 times in World Cup. She's won twice. Nadezhda Sergeva won the European Championship here in February for Russia with Elena Mamedova. Vanessa Mark on the back of the sled again this week. Vanessa making her 3rd World Cup start. It's a 5:37 getaway, a couple of hundreds behind Kati Beil and Jennifer Onisanya. Ooh, high there, takes the hit, 3 to 4. Skeleton athletes yesterday saying how very, very fast the track was. After, this is now the end of the 3rd week of high pressure all day, every day track action here in Sigulda, and the track is actually getting better and better and better. 700s back, 1:12.4, best speed we've seen so far from Mariama Yamanka. The FES sled, she's in the air nicely, 1:23.2, still best speed. She's in the lead at the line by 800s. Okay, well, it was quite possibly a much safer feeling ride in the back seat for Vanessa Mark. Vanessa's first World Cup was in Lake Placid in December, at the beginning of last season. Finished third. Her second World Cup last week finished first. Okay, later than I thought at full speed there. At a 14. Tiny late flop. Actually, he's great focus on the target in front. Don't look at where you are, look at where you need to be. Next up, 23-year-old Kim Kalicki, the World Championship silver medalist. Well, she started last season with a bang. 2 races in Lake Placid in the World Cup, 3rd in race 1, 2nd in race 2. She was a silver medalist in the World Championships. The rest of the season, though, she was back on the Europa Cup. She and Laura Nolte were kind of due to do the swapping around, but then Laura started winning races, and that sort of took a bit of a back seat at Christmas. Kalicki with nothing to prove now, though. World Championship silver medalist at her first attempt. 500s up at the start, 5:32. She's got Ann-Kristin Strack behind her. This is Kim's 4th World Cup start, Ann-Kristin's 19th. Ann-Kristin Strack has had more medal-winning World Cups than her driver has started. 1900s up. Oh, little rocky, but it doesn't matter. Carry the speed, and again, like Catty Bile, playing fast and loose with gravity. 2nd highest speed. It's going to be close at the line, but I think she might have it over Yamanka. Big skid into 16. Ooh, tucks ahead for the 100th. 900s back, 51.13. In fact, that leaves her in 3rd, 100th behind Catty Bile. Kim Kalicki, bronze medalist here last week. Yeah, and Kristen Strack. Well, she's had enough World Cups to know there was a few telltale signs there. That was height early on, and it's where the sled gets up high in a hurry. In fact, I thought corner 3 might have alerted us to the fact the track was a little bit faster than they might have found in training. Look at this, climbing out of 14. Come on, baby, come on, baby. Gets the skid down the straight. It was that robbed her of the speed and cost her the lead. 15, little bump going in, little skid going in. Knew there was something. All right, things to work on for Kim Kalicki, our 2020 Junior World Champion. Melanie Hassler of Switzerland finished in 4th place in last week's race. World Cup best result for her and Yasmin Neef. Melanie's 3rd World Cup, Yasmin's 4th World Cup start. Made her debut in Altenburg December 16. And then had a few years away and came back to the team. Let's see what they can produce at the start. 5:45. Melanie Hassler's World Cup debut was here in February. This is World Cup number 3 for her. Her entire World Cup career has been played out on this track. Oh, it's obviously that will change from here on in. Goodbye Christmas. Ooh, she may well have done 5 World Cups on only 2 tracks. Does seem like a little bit of specialising, very late. Ooh, woo, woo, woo. Only 9th best speed. I beg your pardon, only 5th best speed. Only 5th best speed there as well. 4,600 back, 51.50. Okay, that's quite wild. So, Melanie Hassler, former volleyball player, beach volleyball as well. That's quite a different discipline. Look at that. Big, big height, swoops down, hits coming in, and then a sled drops down and right, I mean, she tried to hold the line, but way too early coming down. Needed to hold it up, and ooh, that was so close. Yasmin Nif in the back seat has no clue how close she came there to being the runners. Okay, things to think about. Got away with it, and that's the main thing. Mariama Umanka leads from Katibal and Kim Kalicki. Last week's 1, 2, 3 are 1, 2, 3. Martina Fonteneve of Switzerland, 25th World Cup start for Martina. From the 400-meter runner and jumper. Nadia Pasternak behind her. German-born, Swiss passport, lives in France. Former Swiss javelin record holder. Tells the story that she got her Swiss citizenship when she was doing Swiss champs. And the next day went out and set the national standard for javelin. 5:32 getaway. Started 5:33 and 5:34 last week. A hard take on into 6. On a 9 into 10. Looking good so far. 5th best speed. A little less wild though. The more rocking and rolling you do, takes energy out of the sled. Little late there as well. 3rd best speed, and that's, oh, disastrous slide up into 15. Not so bad into 16. 4th best speed. Not a bad looking run from Martina Fonteneve to go 4th. So 1800s off, 900s out of the medals. That was a much tighter looking run from Martina. She was 3rd fastest in the first heat last week. It all just got away in heat 2. She needs that consistency to get a good second run in. That was quite late though. Yikes. (13 to 14) is a really tricky combination because you've come out of 10, 11, 12, and it all just hurries you up, rushes at you. And that's skid all the way up the wall. Probably cost a 1/10 of a second, could have been a 3rd fastest run. Next up, Lauren Holter, and behind her, on the left of your picture, Leonie Fiebig from Cologne. Leonie making her debut for the season. 7th World Cup start for her. She made 3 starts early last year with Anna Kohler, through with Stephanie Schneider. 2 3rd-place finishes with Stephanie last year, Samaritz and Laplan. Leonie with her traditional red and white socks, never raced without them, she says, whatever she was racing. 5:26 start. So let's see if she's got what it takes this weekend to challenge Mariama Umanka. Well, Umanka crashed at the beginning of last week's training week. Broke her sled so badly that she had to sit out training and wait for a new sled to arrive from Germany. Her old sled has now gone back into the system to be repaired. So last week, Mariama won in a sled she had never driven before race day. Lauren Holter very late in 13, gets away with it this week. It's where she crashed last week. Best speed we've seen so far. She's still in the lead, rattles off 15. 2nd best speed, this is going to be close, but she'll be ahead of Umanka. She is, 51.02. Her 30-year-old brakewoman in the back seat having an adventurous time in there. 22-year-old Lauren Holter is our race leader. Yeah, well done, survived it, got it down. It's one thing doing it in training, it's a different thing when you're doing it in the race as well. Race prep runners, all the pressure, all of that.
The strength.
Yeah. Yep. It's tough. But then, you know, the Germans train on tough tracks. Not everywhere is Winterberg. Altenburg is always a tough track. So last to go will be last to go in the second heat as well. Lauren Holter, Leonie Fiebig are race leaders. Lauren Holter Bronze in Winterberg, gold in La Plan, silver in Eagles, silver in Koenigsegg last year, and one sixth-place finish in St. Moritz, where she proved that she was indeed human. A crash last week, but she's the first round leader here. So I think there's been a few that have sort of lived on their nerves, haven't there? Lauren Alter leads by 200s from Mariam Umanka. Katrin Weil again in the medals, 100th ahead of Kim Kilicki. Martina Fontenev not out of action. And Angia Greco and Melanie Hassa hadn't noticed that they were tied for 6th position. So those are the sleds that will go into our second heats. Sleds will be on ice at 11:30, which is 09:30. So you've got 69 minutes to go and have some breakfast or lunch or have a nap, depending on what time of day it is. We'll see you then. Join us at 11:30, 09:30 GMT for our second and deciding heat of the women's bobsleigh here in Sigulda.